Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Now let us understand the next concept, that is vorticity. What is vorticity? Vorticity is denoted with the notation capital omega. So the vorticity is a measure of rotation of fluid particle and is equal to twice the angular velocity or rotation. So vorticity is a measure of rotation of fluid particles and is equal to 2 times the angular velocity. Okay, so if we want to write down mathematically, it is going to be this. So omega is equals to 2 capital omega is equals to 2 times the small omega, and that if you write down, you will get the vectorial form is going to be del v. Okay, so we had this term which I'll just quickly take you back to this equation. Let us say I'll write this omega z. So this is nothing but 2 times the omega z is nothing but your vorticity. So if I multiply 2, this will cancel out, and finally I will have this term, and this is nothing but by d by dx v d by dy u. So if we take the del is the operator, so which is nothing but d by dx plus du by dy plus d by dy plus d by dz in 3D. So in 2D it is going to be d by dx plus d by dy, and velocity vector is u and v. So if you take a cross product, then you will get this expression here, del cross v. All right. So now if all these three components of rotation are 0, the flow in that region is called irrotational, which I have already explained. And if you look at typical examples, we have already seen the rotational and irrotational flows. So here, this is a forced vortex and this is a free vortex. This is your free vortex, and sorry, this is a forced vortex. This is the free vortex. And now in case of forced vortex, we have already seen that you have the particles, they will rotate about their mass center. So we are talking about the rotation. So we are taking elemental fluid, and this elemental fluid is rotating, and we are talking about their rotation, and they are rotating about their mass center, isn't it? So we found, let us say that the omega x, omega y, omega z are not 0, or some of them are not 0, then we can tell that it is a rotational flow, and that rotational flow can be observed in case of forced vortex, where your velocity at the center is 0, and as you go in the radial direction, the velocity is going to be proportional to the radius. It is directly proportional to the radial distance. Whereas in case of a free vortex, we know that the particles are going to be irrotational, or they will not move about their mass center. Okay, so in this case, the velocity is going to be inversely proportional to the radial distance. All right. So there are applications, and if you will possibly come across that at a later stage when we talk about this flow regions. You can have the boundary layer region, and in the boundary layer region, the viscous effect is going to be higher, and that due to that effect, there will be some resistance, and due to that, there will be a motion which is going to be rotational, or the fluid flow properties are going to be rotational. Whereas this effect of boundary is not going to be felt beyond certain distance, and in that region, which we call it as let us say outer region or inviscid region, we can find that the flow is going to be irrotational. The fluid particles will behave irrotational, or irrotational condition will exist, and we can assume that different conditions and solve the problems. Okay, so if you see, the velocity profiles will also vary, that in this region there is a variation in the velocity profile. As you go outside this domain, the variation will not be there, so that will lead to the rotational and irrotational flow fields. Okay, so we'll discuss that at a later stage, but just to give you an example that this concept, whatever we are discussing, rotational and irrotational, it will have a lot of applications when we discuss further. All right. Now let us look at the next concept, that is circulation. What is circulation? Which is denoted as the capital gamma. Okay, the vorticity was defined with the notation capital omega, and the circulation is defined with the standard notation, that is capital gamma. And this circulation is the line integral around a closed curve. Let us say I have a closed curve here. This curve, which I see from on my side as solid line and the back side is dotted line. This is a closed curve, say A, B, and A. Okay. So this closed curve, if I take the line integral of the velocity vector, then I will be able to get the circulation. Okay. So for an elemental length, because I am taking the integration over this closed curve, which is a line, and if I take the elemental length ds and find out what is the integrate the velocity vector along this line and then integrate all through the line. Okay, so what is the velocity vector here? These lines are my streamlines. Okay, now these streamlines, if I draw at this point, the velocity is going to be tangential to the streamline. So this is my velocity vector v, and if I have drawn this line which is going to form the closed curve, the tangent to this segment is, let us say, this. Okay, so the angle between the velocity and this element is theta. Okay, angle between the velocity v and ds is nothing but theta. So if I want to integrate, or I want to find out the component of the velocity along this line segment, then the velocity component along that line segment is going to be v theta, sorry, v cos theta. Okay, so the total the circulation for this component is v ds cos theta. All right, v cos theta into ds or v ds cos theta. Now if I integrate over the whole closed curve, then I can write down the circulation gamma is equals to integration v cos theta ds, and this circulation is going to be positive in the anticlockwise direction. So this is a standard convention. We consider that anticlockwise direction as positive. So circulation in anticlockwise direction will be positive, and circulation in the clockwise direction is going to be negative. So if you are calculating the circulation, you need to know what is the velocity. And if you know the velocity and you know the angle, the theta is automatically going to take care your clockwise or anti-clockwise motion. So if theta is going to be more than 90 degrees, then what will happen? You will get a negative value. So automatically your circulation will be negative, and if it is less than 90 degree, then it will be a positive value. So you just need to ensure that the theta is taken care properly. Circulation per unit area is called vorticity. So what we have seen, vorticity is nothing but circulation per unit area, or in other words, it is the flux of vorticity which is going to give you the circulation. So they are closely related, and we can find out, once we find out the circulation, we can divide by the area, that will give you the vorticity. Okay, so or if you have the vorticity, you can multiply the area, that will give you the circulation, and vice versa. Okay, so now let us look at typical calculation which will possibly give you more insight into calculation of circulation. Let us take this elemental area which is ABCD. In this elemental area ABCD, we have the velocities at every point. So what is the velocity? At point A, your velocity is u in the x direction and v is in the y direction, and at point B, your velocity is in the x direction is going to be u plus dou u by dou x multiplied by dx. Okay, so because the change has happened, there is a distance d delta x, the change in the velocity is going to be dou u by dou x is the gradient in the x direction, velocity gradient in the x direction over a distance delta x. So this is your new velocity u dou u by dou x multiplied by dx. Similarly, for the velocity v that has moved to this location, when we move to this location, there is a change of velocity v in the x direction. And what is that change? that change is nothing but dou v by dou x. The rate of change of velocity v in the x direction, that is dou v by dou x multiplied by dx over a distance of delta x. Okay, so the new velocity at this point v is going to be v plus dou v by dou x dx. All right. Now similarly, if we find out the velocities at point D, the u is also going to change for that point. And how it will change? Because there is a distance that has moved dy. So the new velocity is going to be du by u plus du by dy. It's the rate of change of velocity u in the y direction multiplied by dy. Okay, so the change is going to be du by dy multiplied by dou u by dou y multiplied by dy. So this is your new velocity u here. Similarly, for the velocity v, this is going to be v plus dou v by dou y multiplied by dy. All right. So now let us look at the point C. At point C, you are going to have a change in both x as well as y, because you have moved in x as well as y. So if we look at the change in the velocity u at this point C, there is a change which has happened when it has moved in the x direction, and that is dou u by dou x into dx. There is also a change which is happening because there is a movement in the y direction. So that is nothing but your dou u by dou y dy. So the total velocity is going to be this, which is u plus dou v by dou x into dx, dou u by dou x into dx plus dou u by dou y into dy. Similarly, for the velocity v, the change is going to happen again in both x and y directions. So it is new velocity is going to be v plus dou v by dou x into dx plus dou v by dou y into dy. Okay. So once we have understood what are the velocities, we also know what is the direction. Okay. So velocity is, u velocity is in the positive x direction, v velocity is in the positive y direction for all these points. Now let us move to the calculation of circulation. So when we are calculating the circulation, let us take one segment at a time. Circulation we have to calculate around the elemental area. So it's a closed curve A, B, C, D, A. So basically what we are trying to find out is the gamma A, B, C, D and A, because the curve has to be closed. So when you want to calculate the circulation about the complete closed curve, we will calculate the circulation along AB plus circulation along BC plus circulation along CD and plus circulation along DA. Okay, so the curve is closed. Now let us start calculating one at a time. So if we want to calculate the circulation along AB, what do we need to do? We need to take the integration of the velocity over that distance, over that line segment. So what is the velocity along the line AB? It is u. So if I want to calculate circulation AB, then I need to find out the velocity along this line AB, and that is nothing but your velocity u and u plus dou u by dou x multiplied by dx. So now these velocities are different at this point and this point. If I take the average velocity and apply it for the whole segment, then it will be okay. Now the average velocity I should find out, that is u plus again u plus dou u by dou x multiplied by dx, okay, divided by 2 or multiplied by 1 by 2. Okay, so this is my average velocity. Then this velocity, when I apply it over this length, integration over this delta x, then I will multiply it by dx. Okay. So now, similarly, you should be able to calculate what is the velocity or what is the circulation over the length BC. Okay. So the circulation over length BC, when you want to calculate, that is equals to, again, what is the velocity? Along BC, the velocity is v plus dou v by dou x multiplied by dx, and this velocity, that is v plus dou v by dou x multiplied by dx plus dou v by dou y multiplied by dy. So if you take that, then it is going to give you the velocity. So I'm not going to write the whole thing. Let us say it is going to be 1 by 2, this both the velocities. Okay. Multiplied by the distance BC or the length BC, that is nothing but your dy. Okay. Now let us calculate the circulation over CD. So if you take the length segment CD, what is the velocity here? The velocity is along this line is u plus dou u by dou y dy, and here u plus dou u by dou x dx plus dou u by dou y dy. So now if you take these two, 1 by 2, this velocity plus the other velocity. Okay. Now what is your direction? Direction is CD, but what is the velocity? Velocity is in the opposite direction, so it is negative. If you also calculate the theta, you will find it negative. Okay. So your velocity is in this direction, your line segment or this, if I say this is my direction of velocity, and my direction of tangent, my tangent to this line is going to be in this direction. So the angle, if I measure, then it is going to be theta, which is 180 degrees, isn't it? So if I take cos 180, it is going to give me -1. So the line is moving in this direction, or my direction of movement is from C to D, and the velocity is completely in the opposite direction. So if I apply that, I'll get a minus symbol here, -1 by 2 multiplied by the velocities, both this one and this one, and multiplied by dx, because the length of line CD is nothing but dx. So similarly, now if I want to find out the circulation over the length dA, please remember, you write it correctly, otherwise you may do a mistake. If I write AD, then I may tend to find out the circulation in this direction, in the upward direction, but no, my circulation is calculated in the anticlockwise direction and I am moving like this, so it is dA. So I am moving from point D to point A. If you take from point A to D, then you are going to do a mistake. So you have to close the curve by moving in the anticlockwise direction. And then if I calculate here again, what is the velocity? Velocity is v, and the velocity v here plus the velocity this one. Both this I have to take the average because they are varying linearly. And if I take that, again this velocity is going to be negative, or v cos theta is going to be negative. So it is -1 by 2 multiplied by both the velocities, okay, multiplied by dy. Okay. So I will calculate the circulation for each segment and then add it together to get the total circulation. Alright. So I'm not going to really calculate each of these and finally give you the answer. This is something which you need to do. I want you to do it yourself and complete this formulation and find out the total circulation and see what you are getting. Okay. So we have understood the basic fundamental concept of circulation, which is nothing but the integration of the velocity or line integral of the velocity around a closed curve, and we consider that anticlockwise direction is positive. You may consider positive clockwise direction as positive, no problem, but you have to be consistent. But in a standard practice, always anticlockwise direction is considered as positive. So now, if you consider that and calculate, you should be able to find out the circulation around a closed curve. So I suggest you do this calculation and complete it yourself and see what you are getting, and that will give you the circulation about this closed curve A, B, C, D, A. With this, we'll end here. So in this lecture, what we have covered is basically the motion of the fluid particles or various translations, starting from pure translation, then translation with linear deformation, translation with angular deformation, then rotation. And rotation, we have found that if omega x, omega y, omega z are going to be 0, then the flow is going to be rotational. If they exist, then, or if any one of that is existing, then it is going to be rotational flow. And based on that, we have also found out how do you calculate the vorticity and circulation. Okay, so with this, we'll stop here. In the next lecture, we'll talk about various other properties, the stream function, potential function, and flow net, and so on. All right. So thank you so much. Have a good day.